My name is Adits. I was the youngest of a family of 7. When I was 5, I was left on the brick-red burning steps of the Temple of Purgation at the center of Babylon. To process my shock and sorrow, I held on to the beliefs that the gods had a plan for me. My new life was one of quiet servitude. I would tend to the gardens, prepare ceremonial meals, and polish ceremonial incense burners. At night, I would pray for a sign that would reveal my purpose. When I came of age, I attended the high-ranking priest during the yearly worshipping of the sea goat, the god of water and creation. Swinging a censer down the great hypostyle hall, it cast thick black fumes that reached the cold towering stone pillars before dissipating. My worries lifted, and the resulting bliss made me feel closer to the gods than ever. I worked myself to the bone each day that followed, fulfilling my duties while taking on new ones as I aided the priest during purification rituals. The priests were more and more in need of assistance. Cleansings were being performed daily to answer the demand from outside the high temple walls where a catastrophic plague had resurfaced. Within months, the priests contracted the disease. It did not take long before they became too weak to perform any kind of ritual. Having assisted many purification rituals, I was the only one to carry on. The swelling panic had to be contained even if by a novice. Anxious before my first ceremony, I visited the priest's sanctuary's chamber. When I lit the candles, I noticed a narrow opening at the back. Sliding through the gap, I reached a crypt hidden under the sanctuary. The chamber was bare except for the golden statue of a woman who stood with outstretched hands, her fingers covered in jewels. It was the sign I had been waiting for. The great hall was packed with followers who bowed down as I entered. I strode to the brick altar and grabbed a ceremonial dagger forged in silver, my ruby-ringed fingers wrapping around the blade like claws. The sudden display of luxury intrigued my followers, who appeared to be struck by something now in me. As I began reciting the epic of creation, a woman at the back swooned and collapsed. I rushed to her and noticed the black blisters covering her feet. Without hesitation, I grabbed my sacred blade and swung at my own foot, severing a toe. When I offered the bloody part to the gods, asking them to protect the woman, a silence fell over the followers. They bowed and revered me as their new priestess. Tales of my devotion began to spread across the city as quickly as the disease. Soon my followers called me the High Priestess of Babylon. But I do not believe I was as high as everyone labeled me to be. My face was soon dried when I showed the first sign of infection. My cough became a mix of phlegm and blood. My neck erupted in abscesses and my four-toed foot darkened. I was ashamed of my condition, so I began wearing a veiled headpiece and carried a censer that masked the rancid smell of sickness that clung to my skin. Hoping to be saved, I kept performing the rituals, offering blessed water and food to my followers. But it appeared that no ritual could save me. In a desperate attempt to appease the gods, I banished myself from the city. Traveled north with a few followers, venturing through the cold woodlands of Rashtu, until it was no longer possible to walk. We camped in a damp cave where I lay in a pool of vomit. My foot, which had turned black, was so swollen that I could not go any further. My followers and I realized the truth in that cave. We were all infected with the plague. Kneeling among my retching followers, I made one last prayer. The black fumes of incense rose into the damp air before being wiped off by a cold breeze. A fog. Neither my body nor those of my followers were ever found. We had joined a different realm. Many told tales of my return, but no one truly knew what fate had befallen the High Priestess of Babylon.